Fine. So we'll start with yesterday's question, which we didn't solve, and then we'll move on. Okay. So the question was, they have given that there was a mixture in which I'm going to have MgSO4.7H2O and CuSO4.5H2O. The total mixture was 5 grams, isn't it? And they told that that particular mixture is strongly heated so that all the water of crystallization, that is all the H2O molecules have evaporated. And they told that they got 3 grams of the anhydrous mixture. That was the question. And they're asking you how much was the mass percentage of CuSO4 in the solution. CuSO4.7H2O was there in the mixture. That was the question, isn't it? Right? Okay. Say now I'm going to have CuSO4.7H2O, and I have 5H2O and MgSO4.7H2O. Okay. Now let me calculate the molecular mass of this. Right. So molecular mass, if you calculate for CuSO4.7H2O, right? So for copper, it is 54 plus 32 plus 32, 64 plus 5 into 18. Right? Now this would have been the molecular mass of your CuSO4.7H2O. Same way for MgSO4.7H2O, it would have been 24 plus 32 plus 64 plus 7 into 18. This would have been the molecular mass of MgSO4.7H2O. Correct? Right. Okay. Now let us assume that this mass, say total 5 grams, right? Total 5 grams, and let's say X grams is for CuSO4.5H2O, and say obviously then what will be the mass of MgSO4.7H2O? 5 minus X dot 7H2O. Okay, fine. So this mixture, that is this total mixture is heated now, right? This total mixture is heated. Now I would have got anhydrous CuSO4 plus anhydrous MgSO4, and this particular thing was 3 grams. That is what is given in the question, isn't it? Right? Total 5 grams, and when I heat it, all the water molecules have evaporated, and they told that they have 3 grams of this mixture. Now, very simple. Okay. Now, what you understand is, if I take CuSO4.5H2O, right? So if I calculate the molecular mass, this much is the molecular mass. In this molecular mass, can I say this much? That is, if I calculate the molecular mass of CuSO4 alone, it would be 54 plus 32 plus 64. This would have been the molecular mass of CuSO4 alone, right? So how can I put it is, if I have this much grams, that is 54 plus 32 plus 64 grams of, okay, plus 5 into 18 grams of CuSO4.5H2O, and in that anhydrous CuSO4 is how much? 54 plus 32 plus 64. Guys, did you understand what I'm saying? I'm telling, if I have basically the total molecular mass of CuSO4.5H2O, the anhydrous CuSO4 part is this much, 54 plus 32 plus 64. Correct? Now how many grams I have? X grams I have, right? So if I have X grams of CuSO4.5H2O, how much I'll be getting this Y in terms of X, isn't it? I'll be getting this Y in terms of X, correct? Right? So that will be how much? And of this part, this is just the molecular mass, right? So I will be getting Y in terms of X. Would be this into this, this into this. So can I say it will be 54 plus 32 plus 64 into x divided by 54 plus 32 plus 64 plus 5 into 18. Right, now this would have been the, for x grams, this would have been the anhydrous CuSO4%. Now same thing I'll be able to do for your MgSO4 also, right? So if I do that, basically I have 24 plus 32 plus 64 plus 7 into 18 grams of MgSO4 dot 7H2O will contain, for this, it will be 24 plus 32 plus 64 grams of MgSO4 anhydrous. Correct? Now if they have this many grams, now how much I have? 5 minus x of MgSO4 dot 7H2O. If I have 5 minus x grams, say let this be y dash. Right? Let this be y dash. Right? Now what will happen? I'll be able to find this y dash. Y dash will be, again you'll get in terms of 5 minus x now, right? So it will be 24 plus 32 plus 64 into 5 minus x divided by 24 plus 32 plus 64 plus 7 into 18. Correct? Right? Now they have given, now I have found out exactly. So if I have x grams of CuSO4 I will have this many grams of CuSO4 anhydrous, and if I have 5 minus 6 grams of MgSO4 at 7H2O, I will have this many grams of MgSO4. Done. Now there, if I total these two values, that is y plus y dash, how much is given in the question? They have given the anhydrous compound formed is 3 grams. Correct? That's it. Now you have this in terms of x, this in terms of x, add them, equate them to 3, so you'll get the value of x. Guys, everybody understood? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't tell me yes just because I asked you. Everyone understood? Okay, I'll ask Divya. Did you understood? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Abhishek, Muthukrishna, Subiksha, Shruti, and Surya Muthu. Everybody okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Right? Easy problem. It's just that yesterday my mind was not working. Okay, fine. So this is what I have to tell you. Right. So today we'll be seeing what you're going to do in your chemistry labs regarding this chapter. Okay, fine. Now there is something called as titrations. Right. Fine. Now say I give you a test tube. Right. Say in that I have some solution. Say I have some HCl solution with me. Okay. Now I know that I have HCl in it, but I don't know how much HCl I have in it. Right? I want to know what is the concentration. What is the concentration of this unknown HCl solution I've given you? I've just given you a test tube, right? And I want to know how much is the concentration of this particular HCl solution, right? So whenever you have to find these unknown concentrations, you go for a technique called as titration, right? So basically titration, sorry. Okay. So titration is basically a technique which is used for finding the unknown concentration. It's a technique for finding unknown concentration. Okay. So if you go to your chemistry labs, right? If you go to your chemistry labs, you will be doing this experiment in your chemistry labs also. Okay. So what will they do is, everybody is in mute. Okay. Fine. Right. So I told you titrations basically is a technique by which I'll be able to find what is the unknown concentration of a solution. Okay. So if you go to your chemistry labs, you will be finding certain apparatus, right? So does anyone know what is a pipette? Has someone heard of it? Guys, have you ever
No,
used
sir.
pipette? Okay. Burette. Okay, I'll write the terms. There is something called as a pipette. There is something called as a burette. Has anyone heard these terms? Pipette, burette. I think nobody has heard this term. Okay, basically they are apparatus, just like your conical flask, Bunsen burner, all these. My pipette and burette are also going to be glass apparatus made up of glass. Okay, fine. So we'll come to this later. Okay, fine. So let me give you the overall picture of this, right? So generally I'll be able to do titrations for acids, bases, and sometimes for oxidizing and reducing agents also. But first we'll concentrate on acids and bases, right? So now I have a HCl solution. Say I have some 100 ml of some XM HCl solution with me. Okay, I have 100 ml of some. I don't have to find this X basically. That is the thing which you have to do with titration, right? So I have some 100 ml. I have taken some 100. That I can measure, isn't it? 100 ml I'll be able to measure easily. Volume I'll be able to measure. For molarity, there is no direct measurement. It's all calculated. Hope you know how to remember. Did you even remember, guys? It's been a long time since I told you about molarity. Molality. Everybody remembers what is molarity, molality, all the concentration terms.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everybody remembers. Cool. Right. So I've taken some 100 ml of XM HCl solution. My thing is to find what is this X value. Okay, fine. So for finding this, what will they do is they will take this particular thing in a burette. Anyways, we'll not go into the pipette and burette part first. So they will take it in a test tube, right? And they will make it react with some known concentration of some other solution. Again, I repeat, I will take the solution, unknown solution, right? I will make this react with the solution whose concentration is known, right? And always remember, whenever you want to find the concentration of an acid, the known solution which is going to be used is what is called as, which is going to be a base, right? Whenever I have to find for acids, I have to use the known concentration to be a base. And whenever I have a base, the known concentration should be an acid, right? So fine. So and I'm going to give you some technical terms now, right? Okay. Now when this unknown solution, that is the unknown, the solution which for whom I don't know the concentration, is what is called as titrate, right? What is that? The solution which you're going to find the concentration for which you don't know the concentration, that is what is called as titrate, right? And I told you are going to find the concentration with the help of a solution whose concentration is known, right? Say for example, I take some 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution. Now the entire concentration is known now, isn't it? 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution I have taken, right? Now this known solution concentration, this known concentration solution is what is called as titrant, right? So the unknown concentration is called as titrate and the known concentration is going to be called as titrant. Okay, fine. Right. Now, assuming that the reaction is going to happen 100%, efficiency 100%, now I'll be able to find this X with the help of my stoichiometry. Right. So we'll see how. Very simple. Can you do this? Can you tell me what will be the X value? Can you do it and tell me? This is just like stoichiometry. So basically what I have HCl plus NaOH gives me what? NaCl plus H2O. No problem. This is what I have. Reaction. Correct? Right. Now what did I tell you? The trick is converting whatever data is given to you in terms of number of moles. Isn't it? Whatever data given to you, you have to convert it into number of moles. Can you convert? What is the formula for molarity? Someone tell me. Guys, what is the formula for molarity?
Number of moles divided by volume of solution.
Correct. Number of moles of solute divided by volume of solution, and if the volume is given in terms of ml, I have to multiply by 1000.
1000. Yeah.
Correct. Right. So this is what I know about molarity, right? So basically, molarity is number of moles divided by volume in ml into 1000, right? So in the questions, in the data which is given to you, they have given volume, they have given molarity. Volume, molarity, both of them are given. So can I find the number of moles here, right? So okay, for this HCl, if I have to find out, can I say this will be X into 100 divided by 1000? This will be the number of moles, right? X, which I have to find, volume into molarity. Number of moles will be equal to volume into molarity divided by 1000. That's what you'll get, isn't it? So I have X into 100 divided by 1000. Correct? Okay. Now for this, if I go, it will be 200 into 0.5, which is the molarity, divided by 1000. Correct? 200 is the volume, molarity is 0.5 divided by 1000. This will be the number of moles of NaOH, right? Now, according to stoichiometry, for how many moles? How many moles? Can I say for 1 mole of HCl, I require 1 mole of NaOH, right? For 1 mole of HCl, I require 1 mole of NaOH, right? So if I have this many moles of HCl is also required, correct? Right? So if I have 200, basically for 1 mole HCl, I require 1 mole NaOH. From the stoichiometry, I can easily say that, right? Now, how many moles I have for NaOH? 200 into 0.5 divided by 1000, correct? And I have for this, it is X. Okay. Now, if at all this is the case, right? Now, the same number of moles should be there, right? For 1 mole, for this many moles, right? And that number of moles I have here, isn't it? So that X into 100 divided by 1000. So 1000 I can cancel, right? So now I'll be able to easily find the X value. Now can I say X will be 2 into 0.5, which is 1 m. X is the molarity, right? So by this way, if I have an unknown solution whose concentration is not known, I will be able to titrate with a solution whose concentration was known, and by the stoichiometry, I will be able to find what is the concentration. I'll be able to find what is the concentration of this unknown solution. Guys, understood the overall view of titration? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically I have to use a solution whose concentration is known, do the stoichiometry and get the answer. Very, very simple. Okay, fine. Now you understood the whole idea of what exactly titration is, correct? Now we'll go into the technical terms, and this is what we are going to do basically, right? But how we are going to do is what is the question now, right? Okay, fine. Now we'll do this. Okay, fine. So first thing is we'll not concentrate now on the solution whose concentration is not known. We'll keep it aside, right? So now we are going to we're going to concentrate on the solution whose concentration is known. Okay, so basically if I have to have this much molarity, this much volume, basically I have to prepare the solution in such a way, isn't it? I have to prepare the solution in such a way, isn't it? Say for example, now in this case, I had a solution whose volume is 200 ml and the molarity was 0.5 m, right? Now I have to prepare it, isn't it? So how do I prepare it? Very, very simple, right? Okay, say I have to prepare 200 ml of 0.5 m solution, right? NaOH solution. This I need to prepare first, then only I can use it for titration. Correct. So forget this 200 ml for now, right? Forget this 200 ml for now. First, I have to prepare 0.5 m. I have to prepare 0.5 m of NaOH solution, right? Now, how do I prepare? I already know the definition of molarity, isn't it? What does definition says? Definition says that it is the number of moles, right? It is the number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of the solution, isn't it? It is the number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of the solution. Correct? Right? Okay. So now I can easily say that I have 0.5 moles of NaOH present in 1 liter of total solution. Correct. And if I know what is 0.5 m, 0.5 moles, I will be able to calculate what is the mass required, right? That will be 0.5 into 40. Now molecular mass of NaOH is 40, right? So this will be the mass of NaOH required. This will be the mass of NaOH required. So what I do? So this many grams of NaOH I take. I measure it. You will have something called as physical balance, or you will have a weighing machine in your chemistry labs, right? So you will go to the weighing machine and you will weigh basically 0.5 into 40 is what, 20 grams, right? You will find that you will weigh exactly 20 grams of NaOH, right? And take it back to your slab, right? So again I repeat. You found out that I'm going to have 0.5 m. That means 0.5 moles of NaOH in 1 liter solution, right? So what you're going to do is prepare it. I have to prepare solution which is 0.5 m. How do we prepare it is what I'm telling you, right? So 0.5 moles of NaOH in 1 liter solution. So I know what is the mass required. That is 20 grams. No problem. So you're going to go to the weighing machine and take some amount of NaOH and exactly weigh 20 grams of NaOH. Done. Okay. Next, what you have to do is take this NaOH and put it in the beaker. 20 grams you measured and you put it in the beaker now. Okay. Now what you have to do? Obviously, you have to add so much amount of water. Why? Because 0.5 moles should be present in 1 liter of the total solution. So you have to add, basically, you have to make the solution up to 1 liter. You have to make the solution up to 1 liter. You'll add more and more amount of water, measure 1 liter and add more and more amount of water, and that's it. You would have prepared a solution of, you have to prepare a solution which is 0.5 m of NaOH. Understood? So 20 grams I measure, put it in the beaker, then you add so much amount of water so that the total volume becomes 1 liter. Done? So I have prepared my 0.5 m NaOH solution. No problem. Okay. Now for the titration, okay, fine. So this you did. Correct. So now I have a beaker which is full, which is 1 liter volume and which is 0.5 m of NaOH. Okay, fine. Now what I'm going to do is, you are going to take 200 ml of this solution. I have a 0.5 m solution, right? And I'm going to take 200 ml of this solution. So for this purpose, for this exactly taking 200 ml or 20 ml or 10 ml or whatever it is, you have something called as a pipette. You have something called as a pipette. So this is how a pipette will look. So basically it will look like this. So like, I'm very bad with drawing, but please bear it. So this is how a pipette will look approximately. Okay, fine. So how do you use a pipette? So basically here you will have some marking, right? At the some little below the top, you will have some marking present, right? So this marking is a measurement basically, right? So this marking will be different for different types of pipette. So this marking can say it is 100 ml, right? Say, or it can say it's 20 ml. So it depends on the pipette. Okay, this marking what I have basically tells you how much is the volume. Okay, so what you're going to do is, now you have the solution with you. Which solution? 0.5 m solution with you. 0.5 m of NaOH solution with you. 1 liter solution I have. No problem, right? So how we'll use the pipette is, you will take the pipette. It will be very slim. Okay, you'll take the pipette and you will put it in your mouth. Right? Basically, you'll put, don't think like, so chemical, all these, nothing will happen. Don't worry, I'll tell you how to use it. So you'll put it in your mouth. So the top part, which is here, This will go to your mouth, right? And you will put the other end into the solution which I have. That is 0.5 m NaOH solution you have. You will put the other end into the solution, right? And then you're going to slowly suck it, right? Slowly you are going to suck so that this part until the until the solution reaches this particular mark, right? I have a mark here, isn't it? You are going to suck the solution until the solution reaches this much mark. Okay, say it was 100 ml in this case, right? This mark represents 100 ml. Okay, fine. So now now what will you do? After reaching this, you will close the top of the wherever you put your mouth, right? You will close with your thumb, right? So now what will happen? Now the air is locked. So whatever is inside, even though this is open, the solution will not fall out. Are you able to understand what I'm telling? So first you'll suck, right? You will wait till the solution reaches this much mark, and after the solution reaches this much mark, you are going to take it out of your mouth and close the opening, right? You're going to close the opening so that this 100 ml stays. Now what are you going to do? You are going to take another beaker. You're going to take another beaker and you are going to put the pipette into that beaker and open your hand. Now what will happen? All the 100 ml of the solution will fall into the beaker. Now what I require is 200 ml. So you will do the same thing again because this is 100 ml only, right? Again, you will take this pipette, put it in the solution which I prepared, right? Suck it till the solution reaches 100 ml and then close it with your thumb, and then again take it to the beaker and open it. Done. So you have prepared basically 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution. 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution you have prepared. Done. The first part is over. Preparing the solution, right? Preparing the solution is over. Okay. Now I'm going to introduce you to some other term, some other technical term, right? So initially you prepare the solution, isn't it? Basically you prepared the 0.5 mole of NaOH solution. That is the total volume is 1 liter. So this total thing, right? This is what is called as standard solution. This is what is called as standard solution. So from the standard solution only, you will take the required volume using a pipette, right? You will take the required volume using a pipette from the standard solution. Standard solution is the one which you prepare, right? From that, I don't require the entire stock of my standard solution. I require some amount of it. Say I produced 1 liter. In that, I require only 200 ml, isn't it? So from the standard solution, whole thing, using the pipette, you will be taking only the required amount. So in this case, it is 200 ml. Okay, guys, still now any doubts? Everything is clear. How did we prepare the titrant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Guys, are you finding it difficult? I mean, finding it difficult in the sense not regarding the chapter, waking up so early in the morning, listening to class, huh?
No, sir.
Obviously, one student, there will be definitely someone, isn't it? Definitely there will be someone who finds you will find it so sleepy, waking up in the morning so early in the morning, coming to the class, not coming to the class, sitting for the class, right? Right. So if at all, if that's the case, it will get practiced. Okay, you don't have to worry. Right? It will easily get practiced for you. Initially, it will be difficult. I am not a morning person. Even for me, waking up in the morning is little difficult. But still, once I come to the class, it's all energy, isn't it? It's because I became little practiced, right? So you will also become. Okay, fine. So now we prepared your titrant. That one thing is over. Okay, fine. Now you have the beaker, new beaker, in which what I have 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution I have. Isn't it? In the beaker, in the new beaker, I took 2 times from the pipette, 100 ml, 100 ml. So I have 200 ml and molarity is already known because I only prepared it. So 0.5 m of NaOH solution I have. No problem. Okay. Now we are going to the titration part. How we are going to find the concentration? Like theoretically, we found out very easily using calculation, right? So how exactly I'm going to find out with experimental, that we'll see, right? So till now it's okay. Okay. Now this titrate. What is titrate? The titrate is the one which is whose concentration is not known, isn't it? Titrate is a solution whose concentration was not known. Basically, in that what I took HCl solution, isn't it? Right. So now I gave you in the question itself that I have 100 ml of the solution, right? But actually, during the titration part, you will not know the volume. You will not know the volume. They will just give you some chunk. They will just give you a beaker full of the solution, right? And they'll ask you to find the concentration. So you will not be able to measure the volume also. Okay. So how are we going to do it is, now this is where your burette comes into the picture, right? So burette, we'll see about burette first, and then we'll see how are we going to find the concentration. You know about pipette. Pipette is like sucking thing, right? Okay. So burette is going to look like this. Right? So burette. So typically this is how burette will look, right? So basically it will be a very big glass tube, right? And this is a knob. You can even close it. It's like a tap. This whatever I have given here is like a tap. You can close it, open it, like that. And these are markings. These are markings of volume. Say this starts with 0, 10 ml, 20 ml, 30 ml, up to it. Again, it depends on the beaker. What is the maximum value will depend on the beaker. Okay, so basically these are markings for volume, and this is a knob which you can open and close, right? Okay, so this is how a burette will look, right? So now what happened? I gave you the unknown solution full of a beaker. I don't know how much volume is required. I really don't know, right? So what I do is I pour the HCl solution into this beaker. I pour the HCl solution into this beaker. Okay, so it will come up to the brim. Up to the brim, you have to fill basically, right? So the last marking which I have, up to that marking, you are going to fill this entire burette with HCl. Okay, and you obviously have to close the knob. It should not be open. If it's open, again all the things will come out. You have to make sure that the knob was closed, and then you are going to put the HCl into the solution, into the burette. No problem. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the beaker in which I had 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution. This is what I have. This is what I prepared from the standard solution of 1 liter, and I took 2 times. I used pipette and I produced 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution. Right. So this is basically a flask, right? And again, if you want to use another technical term, I'll be able to call this as a titration flask. I'll be able to call this particular beaker in which I have the required amount of the titrant is going to be called as a titration flask. No problem. You're going to keep it here. No, don't worry. It will not hang in air. You will have a stand to hold this and all that. So don't worry. Okay, fine. So this I have. Okay. Now along with this, right? Along with this, okay, I'll tell you the overall gist. So now if you start opening, if you start opening, what will happen? The HCl will come drop by drop by drop and go into this NaOH solution, and the reaction will start. Right? Now you are going to wait until the reaction is going to get over, and this is the tricky part. How will you know that the reaction got over? For that, we are going to use one thing, right? So what I'm telling you is, you have the titration flask ready. In that you have the known solution, and in the burette you have filled the unknown solution. You are going to open it and the reaction will start. But the only thing which we don't know is, when do I have to close the knob? Basically, I have to close the knob when the reaction has ended, isn't it? So how will I know whether the reaction has ended or not? And for that, we have something called as indicators. Do you know what are indicators? Acid-base indicators, we know what is it, isn't it? Right? So indicators, we are going to, so along with this 200 ml of NaOH solution, you will also put an indicator. Right? So in this specific case, I will use phenolphthalein as the indicator. Right? In this particular case, I will use phenolphthalein as an indicator. So tell me, what is the color of phenolphthalein NaOH, guys? What is the color of phenolphthalein in NaOH solution? Seriously, just now you studied, right?
Pink.
Correct, pink, right? So phenolphthalein will be pink in basic solution, and it will be colorless in acidic as well as neutral solutions. Right? When I have neutral or acidic solution, phenolphthalein is colorless, but if it is going to be in a basic solution, it is going to be pink in color. So basically, this particular solution will now be in what color? Pink color. No problem. Now this particular solution, what I have will be in pink color because I have added phenolphthalein to this. Okay. Now you know when the reaction will end. Tell me when the reaction will end. How will you know whether the reaction is ended or not? Now I'm opening the beaker. Slowly I'm opening the beaker. Drop by drop by drop, HCl is going to react. It is going to come into the solution, and HCl and NaOH are going to react. Right? Now tell me, when should I close the knob? When should I close the knob? Think and tell me. Still thinking? Did you understand the question? I have prepared, I have made everything ready. Now I opened the knob, drop by drop, HCl is going to come into the solution. Right? Now what I'm asking is, what is the indication that that the reaction has gotten over and I have to close the knob?
Sir, when the solution changes to colorless.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. Exactly. So what I know, phenolphthalein will be pink in basic solution. I told you it will be colorless when I have a neutral solution or an acidic solution. Isn't it? So you are going to do it very, very slowly, drop by drop by drop. HCl is going to come, right? At a point of time, the solution which you have in this beaker, that is my titration flask, is going to turn colorless, just like that. Is going to turn colorless. At that point, you quickly close it. Done? You quickly close it. Now, obviously, some amount, say the HCl is now standing here. At this point, this much amount of HCl has reacted, right? And I'll be able to know what is the volume here. So say that volume was 100 ml. This is how I find the first volume, right? So basically, for use, so what is the use of burette here? Burette is going to help me find out the volume which is required for this solution. For this 200 ml of 0.5 NaOH solution, right? Depending on the molarity of this HCl, which I don't know, which I have to find, it will give me what is the volume required, right? So again, repeat the entire process now, right? So first you prepared something called as a standard solution. How did you prepare the standard solution? I know that I require 0.5 m of NaOH solution, right? So 0.5 m means what is the definition? That means 0.5 moles of NaOH in 1 liter solution. Simple. Now for 0.5 moles, I'll be able to calculate what is the mass of 0.5 moles, that is 20 grams. So I went to a weighing machine, right? And I measured 20 grams of NaOH and I put it in the beaker. Now I have to make it into 1 liter because only then it will become 0.5 m. So I added so much amount of water so that particular solution became total volume of 1 liter. Done. Okay. Now for the titration, I decided that I require only 200 ml of the standard solution, right? So what I did, I took a pipette, which the marking was 100 ml pipette, right? So I put it into the solution one end, another end in my mouth. I sucked it. I waited till the solution reached this mark, and I closed with my thumb, right? And then I took it to my titration flask, right? Titration flask, and I opened it. 100 ml done. Again, do the same process. Another 100 ml done. So I have 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution is done with. Okay. Now, speaking about this burette, this is how the burette is going to look. So they'll give you a full beaker of HCl solution. So you'll fill the entire thing up to brim until this marking. You will fill this with HCl solution. I don't know the volume. I don't know the molarity. Both of them I don't know. You will fill this, right? And there'll be a knob. You can close and open like a tap, right? So now under this, you're going to keep the you're going to keep the titration flask. And in the titration flask, other than my NaOH solution, I have to add one more thing also. That is my indicator. Why indicator is used? Because to detect when the reaction is ending. To detect when the reaction is ending. And in this case, since I'm using NaOH, phenolphthalein will be the indicator, which will be pink in color in basic solution. And when I have acidic or neutral solution, it's going to turn colorless. Right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly open the knob. So the drop by drop, HCl is going to come. Now at a point of time, this pink color and solution will turn colorless. So now at that time, you'll quickly close the knob. Right. So now obviously some amount of HCl would have been reacted, and that amount I found to be 100 ml. Done. That's it. This is how you first find it. After that, you go for the stoichiometry. We know how to do it. Now I have 100 ml of this, some XM, and I have 200 ml of 0.5 m NaOH solution. Do the stoichiometry. You will find the molarity of this to be 1 m. Guys, any doubts? Anywhere? Any doubts? You understood how are you going to do the titration? No, no doubts at all. Everybody understood, right? Okay, so this is how titration is done. So the things which you have to remember, the technical terms which you have to remember are what is a standard solution, right? Second thing, what is a titrant? Titrant is the unknown solution. Sorry, titrant is a known solution. Titrate is my unknown solution. Then I have something called as titration flask, burette, pipette. All these are the technical terms which you have to know. Nothing. These are the different types of flasks, different types of measuring instruments, different types of solutions. All these only I have. Right. Now the question is, if I have to find the unknown concentration of NaOH, right? If I have to find, I have given you an NaOH solution whose concentration which you don't know. Okay. Now tell me which will come in the burette and which will come in the titration flask.
NaOH will come in burette.
Correct. So whichever you don't know, whichever the concentration is which is unknown, that will come in the burette, and the other solution which is known, that will come in the titration flask along with the indicator. Right. So now tell me, if I have HCl in the titration flask, what should be the indicator which I have to use? If I have HCl here in this, not NaOH, what is the indicator we'll use?
Colorless.
You are going to use methyl orange. Methyl orange, what is the color? An acid and basic, acidic and basic.
So we don't know.
Okay, methyl orange you don't know. Fine. So please understand, whenever you have methyl orange will be yellow in color in basic solution, right? And it will be orange only in acidic solution. Right? It will be orange in color in acidic solution. Methyl orange again is an indicator, like your phenolphthalein. Okay, so methyl orange will be yellow in color in basic solution, and it will be orange in color in acidic solution. So now when you have the HCl in the titration flask, when you add the methyl orange, it will be orange in color. Right. Now how will you detect the end point? End point is the point where the reaction comes to an end. Everything is reacted. So at that point, what will be the change in color? Now the change in color will be orange to yellow. It now solution would have become yellow in color, and obviously some amount of NaO should have reacted, and done. I'll be able to find the concentration.
Sir, why can't we use phenolphthalein itself?
Phenolphthalein, if I use, what will happen? Say now phenolphthalein, I have HCl here, right? Now if I add phenolphthalein, it will be colorless. Correct. Now, even if you have very small amount of a drop of NaOH coming, that will turn pink. Now that means the reaction is over.
No, sir.
That is why I don't use phenolphthalein here.
Oh.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay. So done. That is about my titration. Okay. Fine. I think today's class is enough. You have learned so many new things today. Right. So did your school syllabus start? When is the school starting, guys?
8:30, sir.
Oh, today 8:30 classes are starting. Today is the first day.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So chemistry class, when they happen, right, they will definitely teach this chapter only. So you are going to answer your teachers like this, fut, because you already learned it. Is that okay? Right? And did you download your NCERT textbooks?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
today you are going to solve. Today the homework for you. Not much. Okay. So do the first 5 problems. Okay, first 5 problems in your NCERT book back. First what is that? First chapter. Some basic concepts of chemistry. Right. You are going to do the first 5 problems, and I will tell Akila also. Right. She will collect the assignments from you. You are going to do it. Okay. First 5 problems of some basic concepts of chemistry, book back exercise. Easily you'll be able to do. Now you have written that test itself. Now that test, you saw how tough it was. I wantedly prepared for the tough paper, right? Because I don't know which level you are, right? I just wanted to know how many of you are able to answer like that. But from now on, the test won't be like this. Don't worry, it will not be this tough. Okay, so all the tests will be very easy, and you will be able to easily attend the paper. Understood? Yeah. Doubt?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
When NaOH in the burette, and if it falls with HCl, sir, won't it become neutral solution?
Yeah, it will become a neutral solution. That's what will happen. That is the end point.
So then how the color will be yellow, sir, if we add methyl orange?
Oh, okay. So basically, it will be yellow in basic as well as neutral solution. I'm sorry. Okay, it will be yellow in basic as well as neutral solution, methyl orange. Okay, right. So fine, done. So done for the day. We'll meet again tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. Right. So today's class, when you go to your school, when you attend the classes in school, you are going to, if at all chemistry is going to happen, you are going to answer, and you're going to literally squeeze your teacher asking so many tough questions. Go for it. All the best. Okay. Bye. We'll see you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.